Scarcely had I uttered my worries about the fate of my dissertation, scarcely had I expressed a desire, which seemed impossible to fulfill, that I should not need to play this traitorous role toward Professor Bloiler, when the wish came true. The very next morning I went to see Professor Bloiler. He was quite friendly toward me again, and said that he had only been able to look over 1/10 of the dissertation, but this 10th was fine, and for the rest he would rely on me. He asked whether I wanted to publish the paper in a Freudian journal, whether I myself wanted to talk to Dr. Jung about it, or would I leave that to him. I chose the latter. So that great burden is gone. I need not lie and can write to Professor Bloiler that I am sending my paper to Dr. Jung. And now, will it really be published? Maybe there is no space left, especially for such a long paper. Why am I so anxious to see it in print? And my friend? Should I express the same wish with respect to him that I uttered earlier? Oh yes, what is it I should wish for? My dear good friend, the harder thing is just to wish for something consistent. 9th of September 1910. Dear God, how happy I really am. Just received a letter from Professor Bloiler. Dear Fräulein Spielrein, I should like to ask you to send the dissertation to Dr. Jung in Küsnacht, so that he can decide whether it is suitable for the Jahrbuch. With best wishes, you most sincerely, Bloiler. That is better than I could ever have dared to hope. The dear good little father. So he did not forget. What should I write to him? I should like to say so many things, how grateful I am to him, but my respect for him prevents me from saying much. Now there is one more worry, whether Dr. Jung will find the article suitable for the Jahrbuch. O guardian spirit, if only I could have some assurance quickly. Is it possible that even I might find a lucky star? Is it possible that a tiny bit of truth can be discovered in my fantasies? Thank you 1,000 times, dear fate. 11th September 1910. When he gave me his diary to read, he said in a very coarse voice, "Only my wife has read this, and you." He said no one could understand him as I could. Because he happens to have a wife, it often seems unfair that my diary, in which I speak of our love, takes up where his earlier one left off. That might be true, but I also have a good excuse for acting as I do. Our love grew out of a mutual affinity and common intellectual interest. What intelligent eyes, he sometimes sighed. Or tears came to his own eyes when I explained something about, for example, Wagner's psychological music, for he had thought, felt, written, in unpublished works too, the very same things. And I was ready to die for him, to sacrifice my honor to him. It was my first love, not to live with him, or at least for him, for the child I wanted to give him seemed impossible. I wrote poems for him, composed songs about him, thought of him day and night, and yet his wife, who, as his diary makes clear, hesitated for a long time before marrying him, because in spite of her love, she gave thought to her own comfort and did not want any wild-eyed slave to an ideology. His wife is protected by the law, respected by all, and I, who wanted to give him everything I possessed without the slightest regard for myself, I am called immoral in the language of society, lover, maybe maîtresse. True, he wanted to introduce me in his house, make me his wife's friend, but understandably his wife wanted no part of this business, so her volens nolens, most of it had to be kept secret from her.